talk ill of somebody who's not keeping too well. But that's not the issue. The issue is fundamentally raised by that gentleman there, that as far as India-centric terror is concerned, America has the capacity to restrain Pakistan, but it doesn't want to restrain it.
Okay, I think let her raise that question. Let her respond to your question. Your question is, do you believe that Pakistan will be abandoned by the United States?
Yeah, exactly. Number two, which is a very small point, and that is Mr. Goswami. I don't want to cast aspersions on his newfound party or anything of that sort. The real issue is, Mr. Trivedi, I'm sorry, he's in the real issue is Joseph Nye, the great academic from Ivy League University, prof, who was my prof, yes, and became an advisor to Clinton, used to say democracies are often out of phase. They are never in phase. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to quickly raise that issue? I mean, I think, and then we can move beyond Pakistan, because this is not an Indo-Pak roundtable, but that question about abandoning Pakistan. Is this, when you said music to your ears when you go through Capitol Hill, is there a sense of abandoning Pakistan or recognition that we got Pakistan wrong in those decades of the 80s and 90s?
Certainly, I don't think it's about abandoning Pakistan. I don't believe.
Okay, you use the word restraining. I heard the word abandoning.
I heard the word abandoning.
We both heard the word abandoning, but restraining. Okay. I get your point, Mr. Subramaniam. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Ma'am, is there a sense of restraining or abandoning Pakistan?
I think you should ask the Americans that question. And I certainly feel that there is much more recognition of our concerns about Pakistan in Washington. Okay, and I'm not talking as a diplomat. I'm no longer a diplomat. I'm a wannabe academic, but certainly not talking as a diplomat.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm from the tourism industry. Rajdeep, you talked about market access. When Modi was in the US, an e-visa for Americans on arrival. And do you think, because the biggest access that Indians need for our software engineers and our other professionals is, we have this restriction of visa. So do you think Obama would announce an e-visa for Indian professionals?
Ma'am?
I'm not privy to the preparatory discussions.
But is there resistance? Is there resistance to that? Is there resistance in the United States, or again a recognition, growing recognition, that professionals from India need to be treated in a way differently to professionals that you might look at from other parts of the world? Or is the United States very clear that it's not going to change or offer some kind of exceptionalism for Indian professionals?
I think what you're implying is that India should be the sabse pasanda desh.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And market access has to be reciprocal.
Certainly market access has to be reciprocal. When it comes to visas, the H-1B and L-1 visas for professionals, yes, there have been issues. There have been challenges that we've faced, especially when it comes to our professionals getting visas. The obstacle course has just become a little more difficult, and we are yet to completely resolve that. But at the same time, the proportion of H-1B visas given to Indians globally is the largest. As you know, it's about 64%, I think, of all the visas that the Americans issue to professionals in that class or category. But certainly, there are problems, there are challenges that need to be ironed out.
General Kadian, yes.
My question is on a slightly different plane. When we talk of relations between two countries, one is at the government level, which from all indications the relations are moving forward. Other is at the investor level, which actually flows out of the government policies. But my question pertains to how an average American views India. I'll tell you why I'm asking. About 20 years back, we were having a normal discussion, and a lady, American lady, we were in Paris, she remarked, she said, I'd love to visit India, but I'm very scared of snakes. Now that gave an impression that she thought India was a primitive country, unscientific, and even dangerous. You, having been ambassador, madam, would have a good feel of the American public opinion. How does an average American today see India?
And let me just add to that. A private tour operator just told me 2 days ago that business is down this winter because a number of his American clients are saying, we hear that Delhi is the rape capital of India, and we are frightened to send our people to Delhi. And actually, the number of people coming in from America this winter has actually declined, tourists coming into India. How do they, to take General Qadian's questions, how does the average American view India?
Well, the average American, the average American, the word they use in India is in America is Joe Sixpack. Now, Joe Sixpack tends to be relatively insular when it comes to the rest of the world. How many Americans tell me, hold passports?
What is the Joe Sixpack?
Joe Sixpack is your Joe who watches TV football over the weekend with 6 packs of beer.
Okay.
So that's Joe Sixpack.
And what is his view of India?
He doesn't have a view of India. He doesn't even know where India is.
He doesn't know where India is. So there you've got your answer, General Qadian, the average American. Final question, Shiv, you were putting your hand up.
Now he knows incredible India. And there is more crime against women in America than it is in India.
Okay. Well, the tourist industry needs to do much more to dispel than those stereotypes in America.
Focus on Joe Sixpack.
Okay. Go ahead, Shiv. Last question.
I just have a very practical question. I'm sorry to be returning to the issue of terrorism, but that's what I'm interested in. Ambassador Rao, you were ambassador in Washington, at a time when there was a virtual media frenzy over terror, over Pakistan. There was a lot of pressure. I have a practical question. In your experience, obviously there was a great deal of pressure. Yes, these aren't issues that always have to be ventilated. Just out of curiosity as a citizen, what was it like speaking to the United States at that time when there was this overwhelming attention to India-centric, terror from Pakistan at that time as ambassador? Were there trust issues in your personal experience? If you could tell us what it was like for you personally as ambassador dealing with that kind of pressure, because obviously the demands on you personally to perhaps some kind of results from the American side must have been huge.
I'm not
He wants you to reveal all that you're going to say in your biography. Basically, how are you, I mean, if tomorrow much like the Just One Talbot books, about dealing with American diplomats. Let's put it more simply. Is there a trust deficit that still exists when it comes to contentious issues, or do you believe that is declining or even evaporating?
Well, I think the communication flows much more easily than in the past. There's no two opinions about that. But it's not easy to break down prejudices and stereotypes and opinions built up over six decades. And I'm not just talking of bureaucracies, I'm talking of the congressional space, I'm talking of the media.
Because you remember, ma'am, a year ago, the entire Devyani Khobragade incident and the way it played out in this country and the way it seemed to play out in the United States. Is there a trust deficit that still exists at the diplomatic level, or is that over time declining substantially?
I don't believe there's a trust deficit, but sometimes we pass each other as ships in the night, I think. Sometimes, but not always. It happened, as you said, in that unfortunate episode that you referred to. I will not...
Do you believe that episode is an aberration in that sense? Or does it reflect...
Definitely.
It's an aberration.
Definitely was an aberration, and it should not have happened and need not have happened. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you've been extremely candid. The good thing is diplomats, once they retire, are far more candid than when you were in office, ma'am. Perhaps because you had pressures, but it has been wonderful talking to you. Please give a big hand to Ambassador Nirupama Rao for opening up the round table here today. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Rajdeep, and thank you very much, Ambassador Rao. It was a very engaging conversation.